I'll call the meeting to order. This is the East Line Board of Selectmen meeting, regular meeting, June 5th already, 2019. If you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Roseanne?
Yep. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yes.
Wonderful. All. We have a very straightforward agenda this evening. We'll get right to it. And any additional agenda or consent items? If not, we'll go to delegations. Anyone like to speak this evening? Okay. Approval of the minutes. Regular meeting, May 15th.
I'll move to approve the regular meeting minutes of May 15th, 2019 as submitted.
Second.
Corrections or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain?
Abstain.
Abstain.
2 abstentions. Mr. Solera, Mrs. Hardy. Consent calendar.
Move to approve the consent calendar for the meeting of June 5th, 2019 in the amount of $3,563.91.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Approved. I am very, very pleased to announce that the Lions Club, once again, in continuing their tradition of putting the Arts Festival on the grounds of the Town Hall, they're planning it again. And it'll be Friday, the 5th of July through Sunday, the 7th of July, where the 4th of July obviously is on the Thursday, and then they'll start the heavy-duty lifting on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It should be a great weekend, big, long weekend for everybody. What we need is an authorization to enter into an agreement for them to use the town hall facilities.
I'll move to approve and to authorize the first selectman to enter into a lease agreement with the Niantic Lions Club for the purpose of selling food in connection with the art show on July 6th and July 7th, 2019. The town grants to the Lions for the period of 4 p.m. on Friday, July 5th, 2019 through 10 p.m. on Sunday, July 7th, 2019, the right to use the land at the town hall on Pennsylvania Avenue, which is to be set aside for that purpose by the town.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further comments? There will be plenty of food down there, I'm assured. Lobsters have not been on the menu for, this will be the second year, but they had record crowds last year, and we hope to see everyone down there. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? I wish the Lions great luck. Number 2B on your agenda, we'll just need a short bit of explaining. Mrs. Hardy, you were around for this. You're around for just about everything. We obtained land from the state to build our new soccer field down at Peretz Park, Bridebrook. And you all remember it. You drive in, it's the one on the right, I believe.
Yes.
And as complicated as I bet that was to make that happen, you can imagine the complications, 15, 16 years later, trying to finish the paperwork that was never finished. So we were finally able to get the right people at a table and say, we never really took, I guess, proper ownership of that land. And Bill Scheer went to work on this, and he's been not working full-time on it. Of course, he's got so many other projects. But really, this has been in his focus for well over 3 years to get this done properly and correctly. So what you'll see here is an action whereas the Board of Selectmen will assume ownership of this property properly. And that therefore can be put on the record that we own this property. It was never done, so even though the intent was to give the town the property, we never actually went through with it. So,
Move that whereas the state of Connecticut is the record owner of real property located at 199 West Main Street as shown on a map entitled Lot Line Revision Boundary Survey between Connecticut Department of Corrections, 199 West Main Street, and the town of East Lyme, Bride Park, 221 West Main Street, Route 156, East Lyme, Connecticut. The scale is 1 to 40. Dated July 17, 2002, prepared by the Town of East Lyme Engineering Department. And whereas pursuant to Special Act Number 03-19, the state is authorized to convey the property to the Town of East Lyme. And whereas pursuant to Section 3.3.1.5 of the Town Charter, the Board of Selectmen has the sole authority to accept gifts of real estate, and whereas the Planning Commission hath authorized the acceptance of the property for use as a park in accordance with Connecticut General Statute, Section 8-24, and whereas the Department of Parks and Recreation has been using the property as an athletic field for 16 years and therefore finds it to be suitable for inclusion in the town's inventory of parks, and whereas the state requires a resolution by the Board of Selectmen to accept the conveyance of the property for $1, it is resolved that the town of East Lyme accepts the property and authorizes the first selectman to execute and deliver such documents as may be necessary to effectuate the transaction.
Second?
Motion and second. Are there any questions?
Something just kind of slipped through the cracks.
It is, these things can happen. To make sure our Ts were crossed, you'll notice in your packet, there was also a resolution of the 8-24 referral that goes to planning. Zoning had already signed off on it, so we even, at last night's meeting, 16 years later, got the proper approval from the Planning Commission. So we're just trying to clean up our side of the street, if you will.
Mark, how was this noticed? Is this something that the state brought to our attention, or that we just...
I don't know how it was discovered.
Okay.
My guess is Bill Shear, in his fine
It
details.
was my, getting that relationship going with Nino.
Yeah.
And the new wardens that have been cycling through, they've been asking her to dig down a little deeper. And she came across it and asked me, she said, I don't have complete paperwork. Do you?"
Yeah.
And that's when we really started kind of digging through it, and she got all the right people
Great.
in line, so.
Fantastic. All right.
Yeah.
We have a motion on the table. Are there any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain?
Now, who gets to write the big check?
For $1?
How much you got on you?
You know who gets to sign it.
Did we ever pay the $1?
Yes, you have to.
Pay it now.
Is this an annual thing? No, this is.
No, this is a one-time.
It's a one-time
Because you have
thing.
to have,
Have we ever, did we pay the $1 16 years ago? That's
Oh.
my que- I'm wondering.
Sure we do.
No.
I'm sure we
We'll
did.
probably spend more than $1 finding out if we do.
Yeah.
So there we go. Thank you all on that and for your understanding. We have 2C is the approval of bond refunding of $8.5 million. This is, Ann, I think, where you can step up to the podium and start walking us through some of the bond resolution and transfers.
Okay, so the $8.5 million, we've done these before in the past. So this is from the issue of 2012. It's at the point where it's callable, which means we can refund it. And so it makes sense for us to do it because of the return that we'll get for doing it. It's estimating that our savings would be about $230,000. In the past, since 2009, we've actually done 6 other refundings, and we've realized a savings of close to $2.4 million. So what we do is it's like refinancing the town's debt, if you will. So this is an opportunity that's presenting itself. So it needs to come, a resolution needs to come before the Board of Selectmen for this purpose.
Does it stretch out,
It does not.
Okay.
It's
Good question.
still going to be within the same period
period.
of time that we would have originally paid it off.
Okay.
So.
Any other questions for Anna while we're on the subject? We take a motion.
I'll move to approve the resolution with respect to the authorization, issuance, and sale of not exceeding $8,500,000 Town of East Lyme, Connecticut general obligation refunding bonds.
Second?
Motion has been made, it's been seconded, and are there any further questions or comments?
Good job, Anna.
It's great stuff. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Terrific. Anna, you're up there for a while, right? 2D is to approve the bond resolution of $950,000 in the road reconstruction. This is the annual, is this in our packets?
Yes.
The resolution is,
The
yeah.
resolution is.
And the list of the roads, is that
That's in our,
It was a handout.
it's in the back of our
That's in the-
packets.
back of our packets? I didn't have that, but
Yours is probably where it's wrong.
What's-
It's in your result.
okay.
It's this, right? The color?
Yeah, I guess it's this. Is this what we're doing?
Yeah.
And here's Joe now.
Oh, perfect.
You have a great sense of timing, Joe.
Did you have two?
I gave him mine.
All right, go ahead and
There we go. So, as you know, we redo roads every year. We have a whole list of roads we're planning on doing for next year. This keeps our roads in good condition and in a place where we're not spending big dollars to redo the roads and rebuild roads. We can just maintain them and keep them, maintained and reconstructed year after year. So, Joe, you've asked for $950,000 for road reconstruction. Maybe you could walk us through the list or how that all breaks down.
So what you have in front of you is actually a plan. It's a 5-year plan. What we're finishing up this year, the second column for fiscal year 1920. So all we're really talking about here in the 950,000 bond is that 1920, but it does show a little out years of how we're addressing the road, so we can kind of balance that funding. So if you go to the last page here, this one, right here. The work that we detailed here, we have a lot of Cape Seal roads, which is that surface treatment. It's a lower cost-effective solution. And then we have, we're proposing to reclaim an area in the Sleepy Hollow area, Stone Cliff, Green Cliff, and all those roads. But if you go down 1920, the work that I have proposed is $990,837,000. I have crack sealing, I have full depth, I have other things that come out to a total of $1.29 million. However, I'm asking for $950 because I also get Town Aid Road of $340. So you add the two of those up, that's the plan. It's been a question in the past of, well, you're getting this bond, but you got this Town Aid Road, what are you doing with that? So, I mean, we use Town Aid Road and the bond to get a real bang for the buck for the roads in the town to keep up with them.
Terrific. Any questions?
Yes, is the, that money for town aid roads, is that money confirmed?
I believe so. I don't, I haven't heard otherwise.
Yeah.
If for some reason there's not, we do this in stages, so if for some reason there's anything being pulled back, funding-wise, then we would just pull roads off of this list, but this is our plan.
That's a good, solid plan. Is every road in town? No, we have more roads
No,
than this.
no, this is the
We have a lot
plan.
more
These are the
roads than
ones, I mean, these
This
are
is
the
the
ones
next
that are
5
the
years.
hitters in the next 4 years.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
and I had to look at this every year. You can go through a winter and a road changes where you really have to get at it. So, it's a plan, it's a working plan, but it's helpful for the policymakers to see where we're going with this thing.
Thank you for that. Now, did I understand you to say that this year it would end with number 19? Is that what I heard you to say?
I'm not sure what the question is.
It was the 27th.
I
Oh,
thought
and,
that,
fiscal year 1920, the second column.
okay,
That's,
Yeah.
all we're talking about in the 950 would be the stuff in that column, so
1920.
stuff in the fiscal year 2021, 21, 22, 22, 23, but we get the questions, I got a question today, well, when's this road getting done? Well, it might be 21, 22, but it's still in the program.
so if I read this correctly, it would end with number 6 with Oswegatchie Hills Road?
For this year.
That was last
That's
year.
this year.
What is the current
That's
year?
fiscal year 18, 19, that's the fiscal year we're in
Okay.
presently.
All right,
But I'm still working on
Yeah,
that,
it's that
finishing it
second
up.
column.
It's the second column, fiscal year 1920 would be starting July 1st, going to June 30th of next year.
7
Oh.
through 27.
In number 7 to 27.
Right.
Okay, so, I see on here Colonial Drive and Heritage Road. Weren't those just done about 4 years ago?
Nope, at least, well, I've been here 6 and they weren't done, it's about 8 or 9 years. These are surface treatments. They cost a sixth of what repaving a road, but we keep doing this surface treatment, this Cape Seal, where we chip seal and then put the surface treatment to keep the roads up, because if we don't keep after it, so yeah, Heritage hasn't been done in at least, I think, 7-8 years.
I know that when that neighborhood was done in that road, there were a number of complaints about the company that did that roadway.
We've had a lot of good success with the company that we've been working with, and before I got here, they kind of just did the treatment and didn't prep it. It's just like painting. If you don't prep it, the job comes out bad. We do the catch basin tops. We do all the fix the patches. We seal the cracks. We do all the things so when you do get in there, the people. I haven't got a complaint in 3-4 years. I'm sure when you first put the chip seal down, people are, oh, here we go, and then you put the microsurfacing top, and then after winter too, when the plow blades go over, it kind of smooths it out. But it definitely keeps a road for 7-8 years. At a minimum, just so you don't have to do anything, so it's not on this list next year. It goes into the deferred maintenance list, and you have to do it with, I think we have 360 roads, so it's the best way to stretch our dollars.
And what process is that? That's the one you were just describing?
The one I was describing, the one in the green,
Chip seal?
It's Cape Seal.
Oh, Cape
Seal. We've been doing that for a bunch of years now, and it's basically we do it in the neighborhoods. It's the chip seal, and then you put the microsurfacing on top
Oh,
of
I
it.
see.
Is that they put the oil down and then the rocks on top of it?
That's the chip seal.
That's
And then we come back and we put a microsurfacing of like a 3/8 inch on top of that smooths through all the rocks and some of that.
Yeah.
okay.
It basically people aren't huge fans of chip seal. That's why we put this microsurface, but it's the best cost-effective way to maintain roads because it fills all the cracks and it keeps the water from out of it. So the Cape Seal, which puts the microsurface in, is kind of like the insurance for the residents that they don't have the stone top. They have a microsurface top, and then once you get, as I say, the plow blades goes over, kind of smooths it out, and it keeps the road so it sits there for another set. I mean, we have a lot of town roads here. We're going to keep doing that until it really falls out of repair, and then it gets into the Stone Cliff, in the ones, Green Cliff, South Ridge, Stone Cliff, where we were just up in Laurel Hill 2 years ago, and the residents in this area were like, why aren't we getting this treatment? Your road's so bad, we have to spend 7 times more to do it, and now they're getting their road. So we're not picking and choosing which people we're doing. We're doing what the best cost-effective treatment is, and if the road's already gone, you got to go with a full reconstruction.
Yeah.
We used to get a lot of complaints before you came up with the extra layer on the top.
Correct.
Because we have a lot of people that walk in neighborhoods that
Yep.
don't have sidewalks. And, until that chip seal settled down, I mean, people out walking their dogs and things, we would get complaints that
Yeah.
dogs were getting this stuck in their paws.
Yeah,
and-
well, there's a new,
So-
the stone is a better stone now. It's washed, and they have it, it's like adheres better. So in the past, the technology's kind of changed. In the past, you'd have to let it sit there for about 3 weeks, and that's what you're talking about. Now you can start sweeping 2 days later, because the stone is clean, the stone adheres quicker. They allow you to sweep it well. So we're out there sweeping it after like 2 days, 2-3 days, but it secures the top. I mean, it cures the top, and then you put the microsurface top. And I understand what you're saying, and I always get concerned about these treatments. We also do send a letter to all these neighborhoods, all the residents in these neighborhoods, telling them this is a 2-step process. So I think we really cut down on our complaints because of our communication with our residents by telling them what they're going to get. So when you do this first thing, we're coming back in another 2-3 weeks to put the top on. And we really have not got a lot of complaints.
That's a definite improvement.
Thank you.
The sidewalk work, is that reconstruction or refurbishment? I mean, new construction or refurbishment?
So I got to give you the explanation just a second. Right
I see
here,
that, yep.
yeah. So let me go down to 3. There's 3 on here. Giant's Neck Heights going up the hill. That's a complete, going up that hill's a mess. And so that's a complete reconstruction of the sidewalk. Route 161 near the high school, and that's why I couldn't answer it, is not there. There's no sidewalk there. That's right by Subway. There's a 250-foot stretch where there's no sidewalk.
That's
Now we have that nice cross signal, the crosswalk. You come there, you go another 100 feet, then there's just dirt for 200 feet as you go past, well, actually on the north side of Subway. And then the last one is that, our crown jewel is McCook's. And we have such a nice beach down there. Anywhere from the train tracks all the way down to Atlantic is all that old bituminous sidewalk. Bituminous sidewalks don't last, they crack, it looks horrible. So I have it in there to put that as a monolithic concrete. So the sidewalk will be right up against the road. It will look a lot better, and that's where we have so many people in the summer going down to.
All right, thank you.
Joe, there's a piece by where the water main went, that was, sidewalk was taken out and it was paved. Is that gonna be concreted on
Your
Route
Upper
1?
Pat?
Where are you talking?
By Upper Pat.
Yeah. I saw
Yeah,
that
that's,
too.
yeah. So, yes.
Okay.
That's gonna be in the fall.
Okay.
It happened in November.
Yep.
If you can leave a patch in as long as possible, then you take the most time to let it possibly settle. I mean, when we were out there, you're dumping material in there. So I already worked out the DOT. We're gonna wait a bit and then patch it right after the Labor Day, but to get it all cleaned up. Because if we patch it now and it further settles,
Yeah.
we've defeated our
Correct.
purpose and we spent more money in the town. But the water department will have to. This
You're
is
talking
the
about the
town.
sidewalk,
That's
right?
the
The sidewalk.
Yeah, the sidewalk will be fixed, but
Yep.
that will be paid for by the water department,
It is, okay.
not the town.
Not the town.
It's not the town's water main.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks.
Terrific. Where are we? Do we have a motion yet?
Resolved that the resolution entitled, Resolution Making an Appropriation in the Amount of $950,000 for the rehabilitation of various town roads and authorizing the issuance of $950,000 bonds of the town to meet said appropriation pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose, a copy of which is attached here too, is hereby adopted and recommended for approval by the Board of Finance and the legal voters of the town at town meeting.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further questions, comments?
I'd just like to thank
Yes,
Mr. McGraw for his hard work on this. Our roads are in so much better condition, and 50 years ago, when I came to town, we probably had about 30 roads that were still dirt roads and not paved.
Wow.
So over the years, and I happen to live on one of those dirt roads. So over the years, we made a tremendous amount of progress, and there's new housing developments popping up all the time, and I think we have a reasonable budget and a reasonable plan to try to deal with keeping our roads intact.
Does a great job. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? 2E is the bond resolution for $930,000 of CIP projects that were in our CIP plan. Most of these you've already seen, so it's gonna feel like deja vu all over again. But let's go through those, Anna.
Okay, so the first one, this is the remaining projects that we had for the 19-20 years. So we just grouped them all, and call it, labeling it, titling it CIP. The first of which is fence replacements at the Little League Complex, Veterans Memorial Park, and Peretz Park for $150,000. The next one is new accounting software for both the town and the Board of Education. We will share the software. We will be on one package. It's for the various, we have to purchase the licenses, do the implementation, and the data conversion. And the quote we have for that is about $500,000. And believe it or not, this is with us sharing one database. If we were to each get our own independent databases, it would be double the cost. And then in addition to that, we're still working out like exactly how we're going to host it. We're going to need to host it on one server, and as a result, we may have to purchase another server. So we included some funding for that, and hopefully it will come in under the total that's been allocated for that, but that's what it includes. And then the other two projects are to do the main parking lot at the middle school needs to be repaved, and then sidewalk repairs are needed at the middle school and the high school. So the total of all of the CIP projects is $830,000.
Sure.
The accounting software, we're using some very, very old technology. The amount of work hours and fixes that have to go into trying to make the accounting work and then merge it with the Board of Ed for budget purposes and for auditing purposes especially. This has come up on our audit report, well, at least since I've been first selectman for 5 years and probably prior to that as well. Our auditing company is begging us to get into a new software system, an appropriate one. The price tag is high. I think I picked the wrong industry. That's an incredible amount of money for software, and I'm sure there's annual expenses as well that goes along with that with every software package we buy. But it is necessary, and Mary Anna Stevens, the finance director from the Board of Education, have been looking into different companies and appropriate packages, and they'll come up with the best response for East Lyme, and of course the best price through our purchasing policy.
Yeah, put a resolution. Resolved that the resolution entitled Resolution Making Appropriations Aggregating $830,000 for Various Capital Improvements and Authorizing the Issuance of $830,000 bonds of the town to meet said appropriation, impending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose, a copy of which is attached hereto, is hereby adopted and recommended for approval by the Board of Finance and the legal voters of the town at town meeting.
Second.
Any further comment?
Mark, a couple.
Go
Yes.
ahead. You go first.
Wait,
I'll follow.
Go ahead, Paul.
So this was.
Mark?
Here.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go.
Did I interrupt?
I'm hearing a lot of chatter, but go ahead, Mark.
Oh,
Go ahead, I
sorry
heard
for
you
inter-
first.
Okay. This was budgeted in our 1920 budget, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, right? Some of these individual purchases, like the fence replacement, like, I'm interested in knowing more. Does that come back before us when that project goes forward?
No,
Or
this is it.
So,
This is it. The Little League fences are rusted, the tops, you know what they do with the tops now? They put that plastic thing
Yes.
on it, which is,
yep.
kind of shaky. I think it's for that, and it might be also for Bridebrook, or is it just a Little League field? I can't remember.
Well, it says vets
Vets.
and parrots. Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was just curious.
Vets, for vets.
And parents.
I know.
Okay,
Parrot
it's
Park.
not the Little League field, it's for
No.
vets.
Well, it says Little League,
It is
too.
Little
So
League
for all three.
complex.
Little League
Oh, for all
complex.
three?
Yeah.
It's all three.
apologize.
I was just curious how that's going to be. Like, are all the fences being redone? I know there's been concern between a couple of the fields where the fields are close, and they'd like to have like a longer net or something, fence higher to keep people from getting hit from the other field. So I was just curious what was
Yeah,
being planned.
Don't know that that's part of the plan. You've been at the Parks and Rec
Yeah,
Commission
Parks,
meetings.
that'd be Parks and Rec will make that decision. They'd be the one to,
I don't recall us having any previous discussion on this. The other items are familiar.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed it, but I'm with Mark. I'd like to have a little more information on this.
Yeah, the fences around some of these fields are some of the original fences. They're rusted, some of them are bent over, some of them, have been repaired in the past, but they're also a liability issue, is that they're old technology with the, rusted tops and the kids trying to jump a fence, get,
No argument
scraped
there.
and-
I was just
Yeah.
curious if we can get.
I don't think
it
they're
would be nice to
upgrade-
know what the plan is.
The plan is to replace, not to upgrade. The plan is to simply replace what we have now. I don't think there was a plan to upgrade it with bigger fences, taller fences.
Okay.
That was my understanding. If you heard something different at a Parks and Rec.
no,
meeting,
I know
that's what
Dave
I
has
was
talked
told.
about the desperate need